So I'm presenting AI tools and their use in research. So the first thing that is common for all the policies is that there is no way that AI can be author of any part of your research. Therefore, if it was an author, it would need to be accountable for the results. And it's not possible to bring this accountability upon AI tool, and therefore it cannot be an author. So we need to be transparent throughout the whole way of your research, in what ways you've used it, and also you have to take into consideration the ethical use of an AI, because you sometimes don't clearly know what data it was trained on, what data are you using, and therefore you might be infringing on some licenses, for example, commonly used Creative Commons licenses. So it's always good to check the tools that you're using, the AI tools, what data they were trained on, and if they are transparent about the data they've used, because it can trace back into your research and you can bring a lot of different biases into your research. And I will talk a bit more about the biases in the next slide. But since you don't know the database that has been used for training, there can be some flaws that will reflect into your data, into your results, and you always need to take into consideration in what scale is the AI affecting your results. If you are using the AI just for example, grammar corrections in your research, there is really low chance of introducing of these biases. But if you are using it, for example, for data management or some tables management, the risk rises really quick. So best way to work around these general principles is always check the publisher policies. They will have strict rules about what is considered all right and in what way you need to address usage of the AI tools in your research. Here are some examples of these biases I was talking about. Like sometimes you get the feeling that the AI is already doing some thinking, but you need to know that these large language models, they are only predicting what is the next word that has the highest possibility of being in that sentence. So there is no thinking about it. And you can see on the burger, you will tell the LLM to generate an image of a burger, and when you will ask if it's AI generated, it said, no, it's not visible because I've covered it with the zoom. But it doesn't know, it doesn't think, it just predicts it's all right to answer it this way. So even though it created the same image in the previous prompt, it will say it is not AI generated the next. So you always need to think that these AI tools are not doing any thinking right now. It's just predicting the best possibility of finishing the sentence. Also, there has been over 20 scientific papers that use the term vegetative electron microscopy. Nobody knew what this term was actually meant. And when they checked the resources, they found that some AI tools read the two columns that were separated in the paper as one column. And this fake term that has no meaning got its way through all the reviews into 20 published papers. So always check the resources, always check the terms, so this kind of faux pas does not happen to you. And the third is DeepSeek. This is AI made by China. And as you can see, even though we are not really sure what happens inside all the neural networks of an AI, after it produces results, it can be filtered in several steps just before you will get the answer. So you need to take into consideration that there is always some filters that has been set up by people you don't know, and you might be getting slightly change results based on these filters. So yeah, this is also some form of bias that can be projected into your results. So I will move to other slide, and this is the.
Andrei, what does it mean biases? What is it? It's just tool, method?
It's some form of misinterpretation, I would say, or some form of change that is not wanted in your results. So
this example was this Chinese product did not answer what happened in China's square.
Tiananmen Square.
Where was tricolor.
And it was also a fun example, because there was several ways that people found a way to overcome these filters. For example, they asked the same question, but said to the AI that it should use number 1 instead of a letter I in the resulting text, and this overcame the filter, and it created like a basic answer for it. All right, these are the AI tools I will be presenting today. I took some of the, I think, most useful AI tools that I found. As I've said on the beginning of my presentation, you might use similar or even the same AI tools. And it would be nice to go through in the discussion after the presentation. And I will start right away with the elicit one. That's the one I have been presenting once already, and this is the one. I'm not sure. Yuka, can you check if it's showing up on the screen, or do I need to share the different screen?
It's showing up.
All right. This one is also LLM, which means large language model, but it was trained on the scientific papers, so it knows the structure throughout all these papers. They've also had some kind of numbers they said that they've trained on. I'm not really sure now, but it was like hundreds of thousands of papers that they've trained it on. And now they present this tool to be a research assistant. So last time I presented this part of the tool, which is find papers, where you will write basic question into the prompt, and it will create something like this. I've already had something come up, so I will just recreate the result of my previous question. Yeah. And this was something different. And yeah, this was it. So you will just write your question into the prompt. It should be kind of specific to get specific results. And it will find some papers based on your questions. It will make a summary of top 4 of these papers. So the top 4 here are summarized in a few sentences. But the best part is that it will always create this table down the page where there are all columns that you can always change. So for example, abstract summary, methodology used, and you can add more columns into it. And it allows you to go through multiple papers and just screen them on surface level. So you can throw some away if the methodology is not suitable for your work, or for example, there might be already in the abstract summary shown that it's not what you are looking for, and you can add multiple steps down here. I need to move this. You can add another steps for filtering these papers, and I've already presented this earlier on, I think last year. But the new thing they've added is this get search report, which is also free to use. You don't need to have an upgraded plan. You need an upgraded plan for a systematic review. I've never tried that, so I'm not presenting about it, but this research report is more, I would say, thorough analysis of the first tool that just finds papers. And I've already tried to ask the question if the carbon storage becomes stagnant after 40 years after riparian forests. And this is the result it made. It works in several stages, as you can see on the right side. This report is generated by gathering 99 papers. I think with the paid plans, you can get even higher number. Then it will go through the papers and it will take the 10 most relevant papers and go thoroughly through them. And then it will extract data based on your question that are most relevant of these papers, and then generate the whole report. Good thing here is that you can see on which data did it chose the 10 most relevant papers. You can go through all the steps here, or you can download a PDF file of the report. So when you will open it, you have like this small paper created from the 100 papers that should bring some answers to your scientific question. So you even can create some short abstract. It will go through the screening. So for example, it will go through the questions on which it used the filters to filter through those 100 papers. And then this is the third step, the data extraction. And you can actually get some results that will cite the papers that has been used for it. This, of course, should not be used instead of basic research. I think it's just a good tool to get some general idea about your question or topic. And it's good to go through all the papers it gathered, because I think it's possible to find, well, not sure about here, but somewhere there should be an information about, yeah, you can see the source there. So when you click on one of these, you can find the paper that has been used. So you can trace it back always where this information that has appeared in the results is actually coming from. So this is an elicit tool. Really similar to this is a second tool, and then it's named SciSpace. This is actually a website that gathers multiple tools into this one web page, and there is a possibility to use it for free, but of course they have some kind of limitations. I was talking to Luzka Shiplova about it because she used this several times, and she told me that in the past more things were for free, and they are kind of making it more strict or bringing the limitations down so people will pay for it. But this tool brings also some way of reviewing or doing some form of research of papers based also on some form of query. It might be answer, it might be question, or it might be just some few sentences that you are wanting to know more about. And it will make similar results to elicit, the find papers tool in the elicit. But yeah, but there are several other tools that might be useful. There are some for changes in your text, for example, paraphraser, when you need to change the sentence and find something that's more natural or suitable for your work. Also extract some data from PDF files. I think you need to worry more about this because it might not read the PDF files correctly. So always be careful when you're using something that affects your data, rather than tools that are working with text only. They have this AI detector. I have to say that I can't recommend this because I've tried it with Claude AI, which is large language model from Anthropics. And I've had a paid version of Claude AI, and I've generated some text through it. And this AI detector found, I think it was only 7% of the text that it was kind of flagging as AI generated, even though all text was generated. So it's not really working well with the new AI text generators. So it's not really reliable. But the good thing, I think, is this chat with PDF files. When you can upload your own PDF files, create some form of library, and actually chat with the papers. So the AI will read through the papers, and you can ask about anything that you want from them. With this, there is also one disclaimer I have to talk about, and that's when you are using AI tools that are usually cloud-based, you are always uploading your data to some cloud. You don't know where this data is stored and who is accessing them. So always, if you have any data that is not published, be careful with it. You don't know where this data is going. Other thing that is straight connected to this chat with PDF is the Google Notebook LM. So notebook language model, and well, it's more reputable because it's made by Google, so it is running on their Gemini 2.0, which is also their flagship language model, and this is mainly useful for the chatting with PDF files. So when you click to try the Notebook LM, you can create different notebooks, and I've already created one just as a showcase. So after clicking on it, you have these three separations on the web page. On the very left, you can add your PDF files. I have just sample files there. In the middle, you have the chat window when you can write your questions about it. It will always do some kind of general summary on the top, on the PDF files you uploaded there. And on the right, there are some different ways to work with the file and also to add some your insights to remember when you will come back to this research. You can read through them, and it's just your side of the notebook. But the best part about this, when you will ask in the chat, for example, we have this methodology here. When we will ask the notebook LLM, what is that methodology? It will go through the papers and create results based on these papers. So it will create some form of summary. But the best thing is that it always shows these sources. And you can actually, when you're reading through and you're not sure about something, you can click on it, for example, on 11, and it will show you from what PDF it is and where did it take this information from. Therefore, you are avoiding this creation of biases because you can simply go through multiple PDF files, and whenever you will find something that you want to use, you can go back, just click on the source, and it will show you what sentences were used to create that summary. So that's really nice, and also it's nice to know that this tool was created by Google, therefore there is a lower chance of I'm not saying there's zero chance of misuse. They might use this, for example, for training of their other language models, and I'm not sure. It's best to read through their policies. There might be some closure about this, but yeah, it's a reputable brand, and it's not some company that has been established a year ago and there are no information about it. So yeah.
Andrej, does it work in both languages, Slovak and English, well, or it's?
I think since it's using the Gemini large language model, it doesn't really matter what language it is. It's pretty good with all languages. As you can see, I've asked a question in English and it replied in Slovak because the text were in Slovak. So
And it's in Slovak.
yeah, and if you will ask her to translate it, I think it should work. Fun thing about this is this audio summary.
Question. It is also possible that both these papers in different languages.
I think I didn't try different languages of papers, but I think it should work all right. These large language models usually do not have issues with different languages. So if you are not using some form of dead language from thousands of years ago, it should work. The other fun thing about this, you can do this audio summary where it will create a short podcast form from these papers. So for example, when you do some mundane chores or some work at home, for example, folding laundry, and you want some basic idea about the papers you are planning to go through, you can just create this short podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something a little different today. Bratislava's allotment gardens.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
And it will create different voices that are talking about the topics from your PDFs.
20 meters of gardens.
For example,
for every single.
when I'm walking my dog in the morning, I have an hour of free time. I will put it into my earphones.
They're
And
called allotment gardens, and it's.
I can get
it's been a
at
part-
least
Welcome back, everyone.
general knowledge about. Oh, of course, this is just too general because when you look inside like 20 different papers with exact scientific data, it will not go through all that in any usable form, I would say. But to get just some basic knowledge out, I think it's nice to have this different form of going through the papers. So this was a notebook LM from Google. And the other one is really nice. It's called Julius AI. The same as our previous director of this institute. So this is also based on the large language models. However, they trained this AI to work with table data and databases. So basically, you can use this to insert your Excel files, your CSV files, or some form of database file. And there are several tools that they've already included on the landing page that you can see for quick visualization. So if you're going to create some graphs from the data, it can help with that. Also, the data cleaner, I did not try this tool, so I can't recommend it, but it worked well with all the other things that I tried. So I guess it will not hurt you if you try. And also, it says it can extract tables from PDF files, which is sometimes really hard for other tools that I've mentioned before, because they really struggle with the form of a table, not in the table file, so not in the CSV or Excel or something like that. You have my files here where you can upload. I'm not really sure what are all the different types of files that it accepts, but basic Excel always works here, CSV files and stuff like this that is usually used. So you will upload it here. Again, I have to say this disclaimer, you don't know where this data is stored. If it's in any way unpublished and secret, be careful about that. But after you will upload it, you can click on it, and I've already prepared something so we don't have to wait. after the uploading, it will just go through it and it will check the data, and you can choose if you want to run this AI tool in Python, in R code, or Lean Python. I've chosen R because I don't know how to work in R, so it was kind of interesting for me how it will do it. But usually I choose Python because I can go back and check the code, and you can actually see what it did with your data. So
if you don't know these programs, or you are not working basically, you are not able to.
no, you don't need to. You don't need to know anything about this, and always you can just copy this part that it created for the R language, pop it into ChatGPT, and say, "Can you check this code in R? Is it all right? And should I change something?" And it will say in basic terms what it does. But you can also just close it, and you don't even need to know that it's working in this type of code. But for people that actually work with data, it's nice to see that you can go step by step throughout the code and see what changes are made to it, and therefore you can use the results of it, I think, confidently.
I think that if you are not working with this software, so it's something like black box for you.
Yeah.
And if you are working, so you understand better what is
The
happening
way
with data.
of learning, so you can use it.
Also, always you can ask about anything. There is, at least there was this thing where you could, when you will ask this AI about anything, you can choose a part of it and say, clarify this, and it will make some sentences explaining what was happening there. So it's always nice also for learning.
Just to explain Andrei's work, this is the way how he creating our website for the conference. So he's asking the chat how to make this and this site, and then the chat is explaining how it works.
Yeah.
So Andrei, this is the way how you can make any website, anything if you want to create from that.
All my previous knowledge about programming was in Python and JavaScript, and when I was starting with the websites, I didn't know anything about HTML, about CSS and all these things, so it really helps. So you will put this table inside. I did like some form of some short table about, I think it was forest resources. And I've just asked that I need summary of the forest resources based on the management type. And it created a visualization of this data from it. This is really simple, but you could do this also in the table file, for example. For the Excel, it's really easy to do this, but you can go further. For example, when you have some data and you're not sure which form of representation would be best, which form of graph would be best to represent that data, you can ask vague questions about, for example, create 3 nice-looking graphs of the data, and it will provide. Then I try to make at least some basic statistics. So I asked it to create a box plots, and it created the R code, and under it created box plots of this data. And also, without me wanting it kind of looked at the data, and it saw a lot of this data is really in different, I would say, volumes. So it's not really representative, this kind of look. So it created other graph that was showing only the 10 types of trees, I think, or species of trees that has the highest volumes of the wood. And yeah, it created another graph just to be more representative. Then I asked this vague question about 3 interesting other forms of visualization of this data. Again, it created its own R code and spit out like this basic tool that I asked previously. And the third one was based on the category of the forest, and also the bar graph was differentiated by color for each tree species. So this was purely its own creation. I didn't ask for this, but it went through the data and it thought that this would be good representation of the data in that table. So
This in the JPEG file or it's in the Word format?
always when you will ask the question, it will create this answer, so you can check the code, and under it there is like the text, the image, and image. So these three images are the graphs it created, and I think you can download them. I don't know what's the file type.
Way of downloading.
You will just open it in the new window and you can save it. So this is really nice, but there is also one alternative. If you are working with some data that you are not really comfortable to upload into this unknown cloud, there is a data line. You need to be more technically savvy for this to work, because this is not really some finished product that you can already use like this one, but these you need to install on your own computer. And the best part of it is it's really literally the same as the Julius AI, but this data line, it works locally. So it works on your computer with your data, and it doesn't send it anywhere. So if you have any form of data that you don't want to upload anywhere, this is a good alternative to work with it safely at the local computer. The hard part is only the installation. There is a link to the GitHub, and they have, I think, a pretty thorough guide on the installation. Only thing that will be kind of limiting is that this is not its own AI. You need to add the large language model to it. It is in this guide. So for example, I'm paying for the Anthropic Claude AI, and after I have the premium account, they will give me their key, which is just random numbers, and I will pop my random number key into this tool, and it uses the tokens that I have prepaid for on the Claude for the data work it's doing on my computer. So it's the same as Julius, but it's working on your local computer, and you don't need to worry about the data. Other thing I forgot to say about Julius is if you are paying for some large language model already, the basic model of Julius is using mostly GPT-3 and GPT-4 and Claude 3. However, if you are paying for the upgraded versions, for example, GPT-4 or Claude 3.5 Sonnet, you can choose it here. You need to add the key, as I've said, also with data line. You need to add it to your account here, and you will use the stronger AI model that you are already paying for. You can use it also here. So that's really nice. All right, that's been the data line, and I'm getting to the last one, which is kind of weird, more remote sensing in a remote sensing field, but this is new Chinese tool that I did not have enough time to go through all the possibilities, because as you can see, they published one paper about this tool that I went through, and they are building a platform for earth science that should incorporate different AI tools to work with visual data from remote sensing. And as you can see, and maybe it's hard to read through, but they present this tool to be able to create a land feature classifications from this visual data, water extraction, change detection, building change detection, farmland change detection, a lot of different useful things that they are only claiming now that will be available. But as I went through the web page as it is now, you can already see that they will try to make some form of environment where you can load your or their data and work inside this platform to, for example, delineate one type of land use or stuff like this. I didn't try this. It's really nice. It's in English now because when I first found it, it was only in Chinese, so it was kind of hard to move through it. They're claiming they will, or maybe they already published the developer version where you can also work in Python code in this, but they have some form of platform already online. And as you can see, the processing analysis also they're allowing you to train your own models. I didn't have time to go through it, and when I first went through it, a lot of this didn't work, and a lot of this was only in Chinese, so it was kind of not usable. But it will be nice to follow this project along, and maybe there will be some useful stuff going through it. When we look at the left side, there is already a possibility to show some data, basic Landsat and Sentinel data, which is free to use on other platforms. But then there is data products, which I didn't went through because there is a lot of data. Some of it I checked only randomly. Some of it is only for China. But the interesting thing is that in their own map services, they have Gaofen satellites, which are high-resolution satellites with 2 by 2 meters pixels, and also sub-meter resolution with GF2 and Gaofen 7. Again, the availability of data is not really, I would say, common, but I've tried to delineate some area, for example, near Bratislava, I think it's working like this, yeah. And when you search for data, it found 2 images from Gaofen 1B, which are 2 meter resolution, which is already nice. The only limitation of this platform as for now is that when you want to download this data or process it, you need to pay for one Chinese cloud storage. So you need to prepay storage for monthly fee, and it will use that storage to send this data to you. So I didn't try it because, as you can see, it only found 2 images, and one is from 2019 and another is for 2020. But since this is only in some limited form, I think it's good to know about it. It's good to watch it closely throughout the time, and it might be providing some useful information. For example, for some projects we had when we needed only one satellite imagery of better resolution, it might be nice to get these 2 meter resolution images, even though they are a bit older. Other things I'm not sure are really working now. Single target extraction. These were the tools that are presenting on the videos on the website. So you will hope that you can also add your images into this platform. And for example, when you want to, I don't know, delineate the churches in your imagery, you will click on church and you should be able to recognize it throughout the image and create a different layer with it. But yeah, as you can see, I think it's only my Google Chrome tab translating it. When I refresh it, it's all in Chinese and not really usable as they present it now. Okay, so that's all from me today. Thank you for your attention. And I hope it will be somehow useful to you.